Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm a little slow here. You guys are probably going to essentially see it in the morning, but we'll see. Today, the SSA, and this is September 30th. This is being videoed, guys, as I'm sitting in the office and I'm about to leave for an appointment. But the SSA put out a press release, so I just wanted to share it with you. And I will try to get this out as tomorrow's maybe video. Anyway, this has to do with the three pieces of SSA rule changes that we mentioned months ago that were coming into effect, and today is the day. So let's just go through it. This all has to do with SSI. Sorry, SSD people, this is about SSI. Um, okay, so as they explain, the Social Security Administration, the policy updates that expand access to SSI in line with the law go into effect today. The agency is no longer going to include food as in-kind support and maintenance. That I think is a big deal. I'll get into later how much they think it's going to save how many people. I thought it would have been more, but anyway, we'll see. It has also expanded that rental subsidy policy exception. I thought this was huge as well, back when they stated it. So you don't have to be actually paying your fair prorated share if you're living in someone else's house, as long as you're paying a certain minimal amount that I believe is the 1/3 deduction. And I'm not going to go into that in detail, probably a different video so we can hone that in. But that was the second thing that's going into effect today, as well as their expanded definition of a public assistance household, which can help people also qualify for SSI. Okay, so let's see. So with regard to the food not being counted against you, so if someone gives you, you know, $300 worth of food a month, family or friends, no, not cash, they give you the food, that used to count. Yeah, and no longer. Okay, so that's good. So people don't have to have that food insecurity we're always hearing about. Okay, it says the new policy removes that critical barrier to SSI eligibility that an applicant or a recipient might encounter if they get informal food assistance from friends, family, or community networks. The agency estimated that this change could increase monthly SSI benefits by about $131 per month for over 90,000 people and allow more people to qualify for benefits. Some reason I just thought that would be more than that, but what do I know? And I do have a link here to the broader article on that. Similarly, today is also the day that the agency is expanding the rental subsidy exception to all SSI applicants and recipients nationwide that previously only applied in 7 states. This uniform nationwide policy will ensure that people paying at least a certain amount towards rent, so there's going to be a minimum, but it's way better than having to pay your prorated fair share. If you're living in a $4,000 home with one other person, you would have had to be paying $2,000 a month to have met your obligation. No longer the case. It is estimated that this change could increase monthly SSI payments by about $132 a month for about 41,000 people and allow more people to qualify for SSI. Again, I would have thought it would have been much higher, but also today, the agency is expanding the definition of a public assistance household in 2 important ways. First, the agency will be adding SNAP, that's the food stamp program that many of you are familiar with. It will be adding SNAP benefits to the types of public assistance listed in the policy. Second, the agency will no longer require that all household members receive public assistance to be considered a public assistance household. So essentially, being a public assistance household helps a person get on SSI because it counts things differently. Whereas before, if one person wasn't receiving public assistance, the people that were not considered in a public assistance household. So this kind of seems to make sense. The expanded definition allows more people to qualify for SSI, I would think so, increases some SSI recipients' monthly payment amounts, and reduces the reporting burdens for individuals living in public assistance households. These 2 changes could decrease the amount of ISM, that's in-kind support and maintenance, food, shelter, to applicants and recipients, resulting in increased SSI payments to about 277,000 people and making more people eligible for SSI in coming years. Okay, so yeah, they go on about what SSI is, but we kind of already know that. So anyway, I just want to share that with you. Today's the day, September 30th, 2024. Those things come into effect, the things that we mentioned last spring. Okay. We will maybe go into a little more detail on those individually again. I'll have to see if we have time. All right. Bye, guys. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Hey, let's talk a little bit about ISM, in-kind support and maintenance. I know it's really confusing. It concerns SSI individuals, not SSD, or and not Social Security retirement individuals either. So it's SSI, that's a big chunk of people. So let's go over it a little bit. As you know, SSI is a needs-based program, right? So the full amount for 2024 is $943 from the federal government. Whenever we have other money coming into us or ostensibly available to us, we get generally some of our SSI benefit reduced accordingly because the SSI is only supposed to be based on a need, and it's a numerical formula. It's not based on your perceived need for something or someone else's perceived need that's different. Therefore, they should get more than you because they feel they need that more than you or whatever. It doesn't work like that. Obviously, that would not work. That would not function in a program that deals with millions of people, right? So it's a set amount, 943. And so if you are, gifted $300 a month, that 943 is going to be reduced accordingly. It would be reduced by, on the outset, 300, the 300 you get. However, there happens to be a $20 exclusion for the first $20 you receive that's unearned by you. So technically it would be 280, but let's not quibble over that because it'll start maybe getting you a little confused. So generally for every unearned piece of cash that comes your way, you will, or earned is another story, but we're not going to get into that right this second. You will be having your SSI for that particular month that you received that other income in the form of a gift reduced accordingly. Cash, is the obvious way income is received. However, income can be in a variety of other ways. And there's something called ISM, in-kind support and maintenance. In-kind means it's a thing and not the cash, basically. And it is unearned income. This is how they describe it. Unearned income in the form of food or shelter or both will be considered ISM and relevant to your SSI amount. There are other ways, by the way, to have income of sorts come in that does not count as ISM and is not cash, and therefore will not reduce your SSI as a matter of law. That's a whole nother thing to go into. But for our purposes here, cash or ISM, in-kind support and maintenance, meaning food, shelter, or both, if given to you, will reduce your SSI. Okay. So when we talk about food and shelter, you got to know that, for instance, shelter constitutes not just the roof over your head and the value of that. It also includes the basic utilities such as heat, water, electric, garbage disposal. If there's sewer, that would be in there as well. So when they talk about shelter and being gifted a piece of shelter, let's say someone's not giving you your shelter, but they're paying your electric bill. That's not going to work. That will be counted. So just know that shelter is a broad umbrella over all the things relevant to a basic, modest roof over one's head. So historically, with shelter and it gets a little complicated. But if you're not paying what they legally decide is your fair share of your shelter, then you are generally getting ISM and they can deduct from your SSI benefits owed that month. So, I have other videos, I think, where we touched on the fact that there are other ways to help SSI folks. Family members can help them without paying the roof over their head or giving them cash. Um, they have other bills, so maybe cover one of those that isn't going to, um, impact their SSI benefit. Okay, so they go on to say here, that they use two rules to determine the value of the ISM that you are receiving, if you're receiving any. One, the value of the 1/3 reduction rule, and also the presumed maximum value rule. So I'm not going to get too heavy into the weeds with them, but if you generally, when you are not paying your fair share, they're going to reduce by 1/3, or they are going to reduce by the presumed maximum value rule, one way or another, unless you can show that you are paying your fair share. And again, this, the way you're going to have impact on your shelter is if you're living in another household and not paying your fair share, or you are living on your own, but someone is paying your shelter for you. So those are two things that you can really, really do a lot of things to avoid. There are ways to manage that and to negotiate those things so that's not happening. All completely, appropriate ways to do that. But in-kind support, food and shelter, or both, and also cash is out the door. But the ISM is the food, shelter, or both. So you got to really follow those rules. Okay. Really, really big. It really, I talk to people a lot of the time about, stop taking as a gift your shelter. Start, get under a rental agreement with whoever it is and start paying rent, owing rent. So even if you can't pay the full amount, you got a pending disability claim, you don't have the income right now. God, I really think I have a cold. Um, you will be doing yourself in the end probably a favor if you uh, just go into a rental arrangement. This is particularly true if you're living with family, I would say. Where nobody really thinks about it, but it'll be really important in order for you to collect your benefits without interruption or reduction. Okay, and that'll leave more for you to sustain yourself, reasonably sustain yourself. All right, ISM guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.